What's up, everybody? Circus here, coming at you with another new player discussion. Today, we're going to be talking about staples. Wait, no, paper clips. And what's a paper clip, you might ask? There's a lot of cards that people say are quote-unquote staples. We might just think they're strong text, so they're cards that we feel are really good, but maybe you get after you get what we call the holy trinity of staples. Staples are cards that you can just use in any deck. These almost meet their requirements, but sometimes they don't. So we're calling them paper clips. They're just as good, but not quite, if you get what I mean. So I got Jason in here. He's from our new player helpers, and he's here to talk about them a little bit. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Circus. How are you doing?
Oh, not too bad. So let's get right into it. I got the first one on the list here, Sphere Kuribo on the screen.
So it's one of those classic, very good level of cards. It still sees some occasional play. It doesn't target, which also helps. It's a hand trap that also helps, and it just slows down a lot of those aggressive OTK based decks.
So what's stopping this from becoming a staple?
It just has limitations, natural limitations, right? So it is really only used when when it's an OTK heavy meta, which currently it's kind of the case. We have a lot of very aggressive decks right now that are running around and less control decks, so you're seeing Sphere Kuribo a bit more from previous formats. So yeah.
All right. And then what's the next one on the list?
Do we have Hey Trunade on the list?
Hey Trunade. Yeah, this is almost a staple until a card deck gets limited, right?
it basically is the case. Like it's the absolute back row killer. Like it's back row bane. So
right. If your deck can run this card, it should.
It should. And then usually if you get enough representation, Konami's going to slap you with a limited 2 list, but I'm surprised they didn't slap any deck in particular this past ban list with a limit 2. Wink, wink, Onomat.
So
I'm surprised they got away.
So obviously this one's not going to be a staple just because it's got the limit 2 on it. So, but it is just a great back roll removal card. All right, and the next one on your list?
Next one, Tth Treacherous Trap.
Oh yeah, another great one on the limited list. Yeah,
it's the same. It's basically Hey Trunade's twin,
right?
Brother, sister, whatever you want to call it. So it as long as you have no traps in your graveyard, you can pop 2 monsters on the field at once. So inadvertently, we're calling this probably the biggest blowout card in Duel Links, still to this day.
Again, if your deck can run this card, you should.
Exactly. You see why every water deck running around currently is playing TTH.
Yeah, so if you can, you should run this card. It's a great card. And if you don't have it, you should have 2 in your collection. All right, what's your next one?
Forbidden Lance.
Oh, I love this card, but it's so expensive to get.
Oh, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for this to be half gem sale eligible for the free to play account. Like I will definitely get that card then. But it's probably one of the best spell cards that's not Cosmic Cyclone in the game, just because it can work defensively, protect your monsters from back row, and it can also be used offensively to reduce a monster's attack by 800 and then swing over it.
And what's stopping this from becoming a full-on staple?
It's just limitations, right? Like sometimes it doesn't completely solve the problem, right? It just benefits protection and maybe like the attack reduction, but again, it's just a notch under the Cosmic Cyclone. Like but it's still a very strong.
It's so close, but not quite. I mean, I recommend having 3. I love having 3. It's so nice.
Just again, like if your deck is in especially need of more protection after Cosmic Cyclone, like Forbidden Lance is probably one of the best cards to throw in there as well.
Now, did we have one more on the list, or are we already to the honorable mentions where they're not paper clips, but maybe they're, I don't know what's smaller than a paper clip, a staple, but we already have staples, so I don't know.
Well, so the last one, the main one,
Yeah,
Karma
yeah.
Cut.
Oh
Karma
God, yeah, yeah.
Karma Cut. Like flat out last format. I can quote Rai was saying that this card was practically a staple last format. Even I think we've discussed before that
Right,
card was practically a staple previous format. But because we've shifted from a defensive meta to a more offensive base meta right now, like
right.
Karma Cut's just seeing less play, like flat out. Like I'm surprised it didn't get hit just because of how the nature of the game was, but lo and behold, we've shifted from defensive to offensive. So
Right.
that's
And not every deck does well with discarding.
no, like we understand that Blue Eyes is probably the main benefactor from Karma Cut. Noble Knights is probably the next best thing because discard their trap card, and they just benefit.
Yeah. All right, so those are the main ones we were talking about. Those are like they're so good, they're almost staples, but they're not quite. So those are the paper clips. Now the next section, it's just a step down. They're pretty good. They're good techs, but definitely not every deck can benefit from them. We're just calling them honorable mentions right now. And what was the first one on your list there?
So first one that I have is Galaxy Cyclone.
Mm-hmm.
So next one would be Night Beam.
Night Beam, yeah. See, I don't have a Galaxy Cyclone on this account, I don't think, but I'll have to check. But yeah, Night Beam
Have
is
a
pretty
look.
good. They're
Yeah,
similar cards, right? I do have a Galaxy
there's
Cyclone. There we go.
there we go.
Oh,
So again, they're just more backroom removal options in
mm-hmm.
case, like you don't have Forbidden Lance or the Cosmic Cyclone for whatever reason it may be,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just they do remove back row well, but not to the best degree compared to Cosmic Cyclone or Forbidden Lance does.
Right. And that kind of ties in with the mystical space typhoon, right?
So, Mystical Space Typhoon, if you've played the TCG, you very well know that card's been a staple card for the longest time ever. Now it's been power crept and been replaced by stronger cards such as Twin Twisters, for example. MST, as far as what I remember, I definitely believe the MST can become a staple for Duel Links as well, even though it's in competition with Cosmic Cyclone. But the current thing is, Cosmic Cyclone has a limit, MST does not. So you pick your poison.
Well, we're gonna hold you to that and see. We'll check back with you in 6 months and see where we are with MST. And we'll replay this clip, and we'll either you're gonna be a
Well,
hero or a zero.
hold me to it.
All right. So after the back row removal cards, what do we have?
Well, speaking on removal cards,
Mm-hmm.
I'll just skip ahead a little bit. Raigeki Break was another
That was
honorable mention.
really hot for a while, wasn't it?
Well, again, Blue Eyes was a thing. Shiranui was another, and some other decks that could, take advantage of the discard. Well, Noble Knights, that's also can take advantage of it. So it just, again, it removes it destroys. It doesn't banish. So it can remove like pesky, problematic cards, like if a certain trap card's stopping you from playing, you can remove it and then proceed on.
Mm-hmm. All right, and I see a couple more we haven't touched on yet.
We haven't touched on. Well, speaking of, while we're on the removal subject,
One
still,
more. Yep, I see it. I see it.
Ballista Squad
Yeah, there
again.
you go.
Another one. Shiranui and Goki, you might remember if you were around during that time, really took advantage of Ballista Squad. Just tribute your monster, get it into the graveyard, and then benefit from it later. In the case of Goki, search another Goki. In the case of Shiranui, is just set up your grave for your next turn and just remove a threat on your opponent's side of the field.
Yep. All right.
So
there's only a few left. There's only a few left.
There's a few left. Next honorable mention I would have to give is to Fiendish Chain.
This card was just broken for the longest time, and I feel like we hardly see it get play anymore.
Again, I guess it's just the state of the game because we've primarily before we were synchro heavy,
Right.
right? So it would stick around for much longer. But now since we've entered Exceed era, like it's much easier to get off the Fiendish Chain restrictions compared to before.
I feel
The
like this
less
is like a paper clip that fell into the garbage.
I
People
disagree
forgotten
on
about.
that. I disagree on that. Actually, Circus, like I think the card is still strong. Like okay, it's going to be like a step under from what it is before, but you have to accept the limitation because of exceed monsters existing. Like it's going to be a tad bit weaker, but it'll still do the job of negating
Mhm.
opposing monster effects. For whatever you need to do. So I think the card's still strong, but like for now at least, anyways. But we'll see what happens
We'll see in
going
6
forward.
months again. We'll check back with you.
Yep,
All right.
exactly.
I see. I think there's 2 left. Let's do the free to play one first. Necro Valley.
Oh, Necro Valley, Necro Valley, yes. So Necro Valley, as you might know, is the bane
Hmm.
of many graveyard-oriented decks. A lot of the best decks in the game are graveyard-oriented, and Necro Valley just shuts them down like at the drop of a hat. You see Necro Valley, and they all have to run just because they can't execute their strategy.
Yeah, it just completely locks them down. It's a great card to have at 3, especially. But we're not seeing a ton of play with it right now in tournaments.
Well, it sees some occasional play. Definitely before when Thunder Dragons were the
Hmm.
hotness, right? Like Water and whatever any other deck that could run the Necro Valley would definitely be playing it. Like I would say because Thunder Dragons kind of are falling off at the moment, like it's seeing less play. But nevertheless, I wouldn't discount them out.
All right, and then the last one, the free to play option, uh, Prismatic Book of Moon.
Oh, Book of Moon. Fortunately, this is paywall locked at the moment, but this
This is one of
card
the best
is
cards in the meta right now.
it is like right now it's teeter-tottering like staple contention just because of how strong the card is, and it
Yeah,
in some ways it eclipses Forbidden Lance for its versatility.
like your opponent goes first, they set up a boss monster you don't want to deal with. Book of Moon, first card you play, you flip it down, then you can start playing. So it's right now it's such a clutch card going against like a Bouncer or Roach or whatever.
Yeah, anything problematic that you need to.
Halberd, you know.
Yep. Anything that you don't want to see face up, turn them sideways. Just
Yep.
turn them sideways.
That's all there is to it. Now we do have 2 extra deck monsters. I almost forgot about them down there. Abyss Dweller. This is a great card.
Oh, completely agreed.
Hmm.
Abyss Dweller still sees play in the TCG to this day, just because, like Necro Valley, it shuts down a lot of graveyard-oriented strategies, and the same still applies into Duel Links. So the White Stones, you shut those off. So that's why Blue Eyes is a tougher time against water-based decks, just because
Yep.
the existence of Abyss Dweller and just any graveyard-oriented strategy that Konami decides to give in the future, Abyss Dweller will be a very strong counter to those decks.
Yep. And then the last one, my favorite card, number 70, Malevolent Sin. I love this card. It's great.
Oh, it's I didn't recall this card too much before, but the more that I've been playing with it, seeing it roam around in the game, it's actually a fairly strong card, even
Yeah.
for the older TCG standards. Like the card's actually even that strong. It's if you know Junk Archer, this is basically a generic version of Junk Archer, just removing the monster temporarily. Okay, go in for lethal, or
Yeah.
just I just need that one extra little dude out of the way. That just one last little blocker. Get him out of the way, and then just
Yeah. That's
go
why it's such
ham.
a fun card to play.
And he goes up a little bit after attacking, so
Right.
it's just a good thing to note as well.
All right. So the important thing is when you see all these cards on the screen, don't chase all these cards. Most of these are very situational and they're deck dependent. Like we were saying with a lot of these, with like the Raigeki break, the Ballista Squad, the Karma Cut. A lot of them are discard traps, or you got to tribute something. That they work well in certain strategies. So that's why they don't make the staple list, because the staples are good in any deck, where these are kind of dependent on what you're playing. So they're very, like Jason was saying, strong tech cards. So just keep that in mind. So don't chase all of these. These are just options to put into a deck. All right. So if you have any questions, get in our Discord because it's free. The tournaments are free. Jason's help is free. That's right. So we're going to get out of here. We'll see you next time. I'm Circus. That's Jason.
We'll see you next time.
All right. See ya.